Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sending peace and the prayers upon His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Shaykh is welcoming everyone to this new episode of the Fatwa Night from Mishka Center in Houston, Texas. First question came in English language. As per Sharia, we are only separated. Legal divorce papers were sent to the husband and were signed through force. The husband didn't want to grant khula. No dowry was exchanged and no gift were given back from the wife's side. There were no witnesses in that case. There was no agreement nor any consent from the husband's side. The husband is adamant that he didn't want to sign and was not in agreement for any of the situation, even though on the legal at US. So the divorce decree it says that it's signed with consent, but that is untrue. It was signed under pressure. Is the khul valid in this case, or is the nikah still valid? This question came to the ISJH ulama committee or scholars committee. In such dispute or situation, there is two sides. Every side has its own, like story, and he wanna give that story to that mufti. So Sheikh said, I cannot see the two sides of, or I cannot have the two sides. So we are talking about like a theoretical approach on that situation. So I don't want to say something and then after this episode the questioner would come and say, hey, I got a fatwa from the Sheikh Salah. Again, I'm gonna give like general rules. Please be patient with us. The papers of the divorce, if they're signed without any pressure, without any force, and when it's signed by the husband, this is like official divorce. So when he intentionally, and there is no pressure or force on him at that time when he signed the paper of divorce, that is official divorce. As we said, the divorce is classified or is two pieces or two nodes, two parts, the Shari'i part and the civilian part. So according to Sharia, we have to look at, or we have to see, or we have to know, we have to understand the intention of the husband when he made that statement of divorce. But if the wife received that civilian papers of divorce, the Shari'i scholars or the scholars of Sharia would look into these papers and see how valid they are. The husband maybe is looking into converting that issue into like khul instead of divorce, so he doesn't actually pay all the consequences or the due consequences according to the Sharia. So the husband cannot be like like a side of that dispute and a judge at the same time, and also wife cannot be two in one. She cannot be like a side of the dispute and also the judge at the same time. So that has to be taken into or to a committee from scholars or Sharia scholars, that they would come up with like a final statement or a final judgment on that. So the wife, if she submitted or requested divorce or khula based on any harm that she has gotten from her husband, again that has to be investigated by a committee of scholars, and they have to come up with like a final decision on that based on maybe witnesses, based on like some documentation and so on. And I would advise them, if they cannot actually hold with good and ihsan, they would just separate and divorce with ihsan as well and with good. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them the best. Second question. It came again to the Islamic, the ISGH Fatwa Committee. We are like an organization or a society that we offer or we supply like human needs for the people who are in need of that. We have some money. It's like zakat and sadaqat money. Now we are approaching the Eid Qurbani. Is it jaiz for us to use this money of zakat and sadaqat to buy the animals from now, and then we can pay them with like some kind of like profit or higher price, and then whatever the outcome could be like for this society? Can we do this investment in the money of zakat and sadaqat by this mean or that situation? As Sheikh says, the Committee of Fiqh or Islamic Fiqh in their third conference in Oman has an article on that regard, to invest the money of zakat in projects that would make some kind of good income. So from the principle itself, it's okay to invest that money in good projects or investment. But again, you have to be careful when you do that kind of investment, because that might lead to losing that money. So try to stay away from all the project that would bring some losses. So also among these reasons, there is no immediate need for the needy people to be fulfilled by that money. Also, you have to do like a good like study to make sure that this business or that investment will bring some good income or good outcome for the people. Third question, the management of our masjid added some cameras in order to make sure there is, for the security reasons or purposes. In the story of the ladies or women, especially at the point of like donations and the kitchen. Some of the musallin or the people in the masjid, they didn't like it, and they said this is not jaiz. We would not accept that our women would be just in front of these cameras 24/7 or at the time they are in the masjid. Again, we have witnessed many steal people. They steal money from the masjid more than once. What is the hukm of that? As Sheikh says, this is like an issue that has like always it brings some dispute between the management of the masjid and the community. And sometimes that dispute can lead to like collapse of the big community. So it's like a, a public issue. It touches the community. So they have to actually make this kind of dialogue. They have to discuss this one within like a good, like with patience and tolerance, in order to come to a good statement on that. So there is benefits and there is also mafsada. So the benefits of the masjid is to make sure that it's secured, and the benefits of women, they have to be like kind of like protected from any camera that would capture them. But also, if we do not use these cameras, that might bring some bad things to the masjid, especially if the people they steal the money from the donation boxes and so on. So this is like managerial issues. So again, that has to be done through like a nice discussion, a nice dialogue between the people or the community and the imam of the masjid, the managers of the masjid. And let's do that with maybe like a majority. We can vote even on that and see what could lead to a good decision. What is the hukm of those who came like Salat, the Jama'ah prayer? We came late, and then so like if we joined the prayer and we came, we found the imam is making taslim, and then some people are gonna actually continue the prayers. What about us? Can we join these people or we start a new jama'ah? As Sheikh says, this is like a good or an issue that has different fatwas between the people of ilm or the scholars. Somebody they accept that, they make it jaiz. Some people they or some scholars said no, it's not to be done. So the majority would say, well, let's let it go. Do not do that. So they would actually start a new jama'ah, and just as a group, a new jama'ah, and then they complete that. Ibn Uthaymeen actually accepted that. He said it's jaiz. Sheikh trying to put that in like brief fatwa in order to make sure that people can get it easy. Some of the people who are led by the imam sometimes they make taslim in order to exit the prayer or from the prayer with the imam before the imam himself make that taslim. Sheikh says the imam is used, the imam is to be followed. So we cannot make taslim before the imam. You have to follow the imam. The only thing that you can do after he finishes first taslim to the right side, you can make your taslim. I work in a in a country. It has like a big issue with the foreign currency. So they actually they support the buying or purchasing the main commodities imported from outside the country. The man I work with, he actually fabricated the invoices with like higher prices in order to get that money and then sell it in the market or the black market. Is that halal or haram? Sheikh says they actually make this problem in that country even miserable and bigger, and that's haram. Sharia is telling us what is halal and what is haram, and you have to be actually staying away from haram. What is the salah of the need? Salatul haja. Just you stand up before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you ask Him for what you need. We have a question came from a prison. And Sheikh says the questions from the prisons are many, many, many. And Sheikh says he was advisor of a PhD dissertation about the prison. It's like a ward. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us away from any prison. So the question came says in the prison we cannot use money. We cannot deal with money. But the management in the prison gave us like receipts. So for example, his family would come, for the prisoner would come, or in the jail, can come and just like, like deposit, like for example, 100 units, $100, £100, whatever, and then that person in jail can use, like of that deposited amount. I can use 2 today, 3, 4, 5, by the receipts he received from the family. Yeah. So the cigarettes actually is the strongest currency in the jail or the prison. And the one who sent the question, just to give in a comparison, he said that's like the dollar with respect to the Egyptian pound or something. Sheikh is trying to find the rest of the question because the question is not that complete. It has like a missing part. Okay, let's just like try to. Again, he said the cigarettes are the strongest currency in the jail. And this deposit or receipts that we have, they have like expiration date. For example, like 30 days. So, for example, I can buy cigarettes or use this coupons, for example, and get cigarettes because cigarettes are gonna be like good. So when the coupons are almost to expire, can I buy cigarettes and store them to keep my money from being vanished? It's just gonna be like pieces of paper without no value after their expiration date. I'm not gonna smoke these cigarettes, but I'm gonna actually use it to protect my coupons that my family has deposited in my account because they might quickly, expire and then I will lose them. Sheikh is making dua for him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease your way and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive whatever you have committed. Sheikh is reminding us with the story of our Prophet Yusuf when he was actually thrown in the jail for no reason, for no crime, for nothing wrong he did. And they knew that he did not do anything. However, they still just threw him in the jail. So sometimes the people in the jail are innocent and they still are thrown into that jail due to dhulm, just like the case of Yusuf, peace be upon him. But remember, Yusuf used that time to make da'wah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Sheikh says, these are ahkam or hukm of necessity. Everybody has agreed on, all scholars agreed on the harm of smoking or cigarettes or selling or buying. But here we are talking about like the hukm of darurat, the necessities. If the cigarettes is the only currency in the jail that you can only use to protect your coupons from being expired. So your intention is not to buy the cigarette. Your intention is to just use this one a way uh, to protect your money. But but I cannot actually use this one as an investment. So, for example, I can use the coupons to buy my stuff, but then my coupons are about to be expired. So yes, I can do that only for that. As Sheikh says, or given an example, like somebody has like, like stock markets are kind of like haram. But if somebody to lose all his money, so in order to protect some of his money, he can buy some stock from the stock market to just to protect his money. My son, we are before a very necessity case or a case of necessity, so we can be like having this rukhsa or being tolerant in order to protect your money. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive your sins, ease your way, and make your life easy in that time of jail. Uh, is a person sinful if his wife, if his younger sister is not wearing hijab or does not follow the completion of the Islamic cloth or uniform or outfit? Considering that the father himself does not actually force her, or and he would actually be against the son if he tried to force her to do that. So yeah, we don't advise you to be like rough to your sister. Be soft and harsh or hard at that at some times, or at the same time. So you can actually, do not give her like the gifts that you used to give her. For example, she might feel like, hey, why does he do that? And be soft sometimes, be tender sometimes, be rough sometimes, so she doesn't feel like you are totally against her. We have come to that guy who has this waswas all the time. He said the kinaya, or the love of kinaya. Is it a custom or a terminology that known as like the custom or the shara? So Sheikh says, my brother, we don't have like anything for you. You have to seek like help from the physicians. Maybe you can check with like a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but not with fuqaha. The fuqaha are the sharia scholars. They don't have anything for the people who are suffering from like waswas, or they are so doubtful about what they say, what they utter sometimes. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant him a quick recovery. Uh, another another question that has the same meaning of the waswas. It's like his inside thoughts, the what they call it, the hadith and nafs. So the self talks, or as we also say the same thing, Sharia, my son, does not deal with uh, with the waswas or with the hadith of the nafs. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant recovery to those people who have this kind of like waswas thing. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uh, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them shifa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them a quick recovery and make them among those who live without this kind of waswas. We're gonna go to the last question. Who is mabtoon? He's among the categories of martyrs or shuhada. In these are the types. The there are seven people. There is the shaheed or the martyr of the battle of Allah, of the sake of Allah. Those who actually die under the collapse of a building, that is also a shaheed. So the shahada, they mean the one who actually dies for the sake of Allah, during the fight for the sake of Allah, is the one who can actually the top shaheed. So Sheikh says mabtun means the people that they are passed after like a chronic, like the sickness of the stomach. So they complain a lot from the pain of the belly or the stomach. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them the category of shahada. And jazakum Allah khairan for listening to us. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.